Good morning and welcome back to Lost Girl Therapy, where we work on getting you back to you. Today we are continuing our conversation of Rubik's Cubing. So if you saw my previous video, you have a concept of putting on a persona. And this is where we start to adjust the pieces of ourselves in order to best fit the situation that we're going into. Or at least we think it's how we best fit in. Rubik's Cubing is the act of adjusting all of the pieces of ourselves in order to be better accepted by others. But oftentimes, it disregards the best pieces of ourselves. We spend so much time and energy putting on the persona that we stop listening to our authentic self. So if you're in a space where you've started noticing that you are Rubik's Cubing, and you start to notice that in certain situations you put on an act, you're going to have feelings of discomfort. These feelings can feel like, oh, I'm a little bit anxious. I just kind of feel weird in my own skin. I'm not really sure how to approach different situations. I second guess myself when I'm speaking. It is all of these anxious feelings that begin to point out that there is a discrepancy between who you are and who you put out into the world. Because we've raised our awareness about how we act, we're going to start to feel these feelings a little bit more intensely. And something that is very helpful when you begin to notice this is to pay attention to when you feel these feelings. So if you are in certain situations, pay attention to when the persona kicks in. You might have a few moments in social settings where you are completely and totally yourself, and then a new person or a new situation arises, and suddenly you just feel that click. It's like a switch goes off and you put on the act. Notice how and when you do it. Chances are you have a pattern and that you have been doing this in these similar situations previously. So if you can find the pattern, if you notice that you put on a persona when the person that you really like comes over, that's great information to have. If you notice that you put on a certain type of characteristic when you feel intimidated, that's also amazing information. Your mind, your body, and your soul are all feeding you info about how your authentic self feels challenged showing up. So if you can identify where these habits are, where the patterns lie, you're going to have an easier time understanding how to get back to who you are. Something that I like to do is journal. After a social event, you come home and you journal about how you were feeling. Really get in tune with curiosity and, if you can, a non-judgmental stance about how you were participating. The reason the non-judgmental stance is really important is because shame spirals continue to keep us separate from who we are. So when we judge ourselves, we are eliciting old patterns of shame or disappointment. And those negative feelings are not going to welcome in our authentic selves. We're going to want to stay protected. We're going to want to keep the best parts in that box. So if you can lead with curiosity, journal a little bit about what happened. What was going on in the situation or in the conversation that led you to wanting to put on that persona? When you notice how and when you do it, you can begin to recognize, is this a defensive mechanism or am I protecting myself? And really think about it, because original protective mechanisms can actually become defensive over time. So see how they show up in the situation that you were just in, and notice if you were already defending yourself as if you knew what was going to happen, or if you were protecting yourself because you're nervous, because you're ready to be vulnerable, but you're not sure how other people are going to receive it. Or you want confirmation from them about how they're going to receive you. When the mind, body, and soul are sending you all of these signals, the only thing that we need to do is tune back into them and listen. And whatever way you process after listening that works for you is going to be an amazing resource for how you choose to step into being back in the person that you already are. If this resonates with you, or if you would like to book a session over the holidays, please check out my website. I am offering a 10% discount using the discount code Holiday Revival for now through January 6th. So check out my website, and if you guys have any questions, please leave me a comment or shoot me a DM.